2002 Ford F-150 Triton V8 4.6 liter. What I'm doing, I'm replacing you know where your oil filter adapter gasket. So this is a 2002 Ford F-150 V8 4.6 liter oil filter adapter housing gasket replacement. The part number I think was 70801. You can find these on Amazon, eBay, pretty cheap. It's Felpro, so you know it ain't nothing cheap. First, what you got to do, you don't even have to jack up the truck, but what you have to do is you have to drain your antifreeze. I already drained mine, but if you look up right here on the passenger side, you see that white little yellow looking, you have to unscrew that. That's supposed to be a 19 millimeter. I take a ratchet or a socket, you put it on there and you screw it out until it starts leaking out and let your antifreeze run out. If you're gonna keep your antifreeze, put a clean bucket or a pan down below so you could catch it. Me, I'm changing mine so I don't care about it. The next thing you're gonna have to do is get under the truck and you see this. This is your oil pressure switch. So this can be a double whammy in you replacing your oil pressure switch. That's that. If you're replacing that, you can go ahead and replace that. It's an oil pressure switch. But we're gonna take that out because it's a bolt right behind it that we gotta get. Okay? And all you gotta do is unplug this plug off of that switch. You push it in right here and you pull it off. And this is I think a 20. I think this is a 21 to get it loose. And when you get it loose, just take it off and I'll be right back. Okay. You see this line right here, this hose? It's a clamp right here. I can't really get to it to take this hose off because this whole line, this whole bracket right here, all the way down here, goes all the way to this. That is the whole bracket. The seat is below it. So I'm not gonna try to take that clamp off. I will try to see if I can do it with that clamp on that housing to take it off. Okay, there are 4 bolts. If you look at the gasket right here, it goes this way. It goes that way. I'm lying. Give me a minute. It goes this way. So there should be 1, 2, 3, and 1 bolt. So it goes this way. So here are your bolts. Here go 1. And 2 more. 1 here, 1 here, and then another one up here. And this whole housing should move, and below it there is the gasket. I'm gonna go ahead and take those bolts out. You go ahead and do the same. I will pause the video. I'll be right back. Now you should already got your bolts out. Those bolts is 13 millimeters. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when you take this out, you got to put a pan underneath because it's antifreeze going through here with oil. That's where it's supposed to be like an oil cooler. So antifreeze go through here with your oil. So that seal is leaking on the oil side. Now what I was telling you about was, let me turn this over. It was about me not taking off that hose. Because you see now, I took those bolts out. You see that? There goes the gasket. You can flex this down a little bit and you can put it back up with the gasket. You just got to make sure the gasket is in the right spot. When you're putting in the bolts in, just put one bolt and then feel the gasket. You see, you could just take it off just like this. So you could go ahead and you can pull your gasket out. And what I'm going to do when I take it out, I'm going to clean both areas. This area at the bottom of the gasket and then on the housing that the gasket goes to. So you can go ahead and do that and put your new gasket in, and then we'll come back and start putting those bolts back in. Okay, I just want you to see what I did. See that? I took a tie wrap, I put 3 of them together, and I went through the manifold, and then I tied this up. So now you can see that? You need to clean all those. Clean those. And we also going to clean on the back of this also. So when we finish cleaning that, we will also clean the back of this. When I cut the tie wrap down, you'll be able to see the back of this real good. So go ahead and do that, and we'll be back to put it back in. Now, you should be done cleaning it. If not, you pause the video. But what I did was, you see I put the tie wrap up, and then I cleaned this area. So that I use a sandpaper. You can clean that area just by tying this up. When you cut the tie strap and let this hang back down, this is when you clean this side. What I did was I used my right hand and I hold it down this way, like bend it back, see that? And now you can clean it. You just use your other hand and take a sandpaper and clean it, and make sure you put some brake part cleaner to get all that grease up off of it. Okay, so now we're gonna put the gasket back in. You remember, the gasket came out this way. The same way you got the 3 holes on it, you put it in, it goes back that way, just like this, back up, just like this. Because you see, you got 1 hole at the bottom, another hole right here. See it? And another hole right here. So you line it up with this, and that should line all the way up. Okay? We're about to put the new one in and put the bolts back up. Start the bolts with your hands. Do not start the bolts with a ratchet or a drill. Start them by hand first. Be back. Okay? Like I said, get your gasket in. 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 3 bolt, 4 bolt. Start them by hand. All of them. See that? Make sure the gasket is all in that hole. And then you go ahead and you tighten them. I don't know the torque specification, but they're not that tight. You can feel when the bolt is stopped. So go ahead and tighten them bolts. And then we'll come back and put this oil pressure sensor in. And don't forget, this line, this hose, you see that? You got to put it back in that little hole. You have to pry it out to get it out. So we're going to put that back in soon. So go ahead and tighten up those bolts, and we'll get to the next one. Okay, now go ahead and put your pressure sensor back in. Start it with your hand, and then tighten it up with I think a 21 millimeter. I use this 21 millimeter. Just snug it. Don't tighten it so tight that you will break it. You don't have to be that tight. And then after that, we will be putting back in the oil filter. And when we put the oil filter back in, you put this plug back here, and we are done with the bottom. So let's go ahead and put that switch in, and then plug this back into it. And then we're gonna go ahead and put your oil filter back on this. Tighten it with your hand. Okay, you should be done, and everything should be back up. Like I said, when you put this switch in, plug it up, then you put that back in, tighten it up, snug it, and then you wash it down with some brake port cleaner. And if any leaks, you will see it. Okay, so that is the end of this video. But before you go, don't forget, tighten that back up from your radiator. And when you do that, you're done. Top your antifreeze back off, fill it back up, and then make sure and check your oil. And also check for leaks up under your vehicle. Thank you again for watching. This was a 2002 F-150 oil filter adapter seal.